Thank you.
said something.
Oh, you want me to say something?
Oh, yeah.
My first basketball game. I was a part of the starting.
He looks old, though. Well, he's young.
Yeah, I mean, I'm old too.
You are?
Yeah,
Old. These guys look old. He's 119. I mean, you're old. So are we really going to stand here and talk to an old guy?
Come on, go to the next one. Next one, if you got him.
Hello, my name is Emmett Till. I was born on July 25th, 1941 in
I have
Chicago,
talk,
Illinois.
don't you? I have this story before.
Girls, you gotta let them talk. Go ahead.
Right.
My parents were together until I turned 1 year old when my mother realized that my father was unfaithful and she left him. So fast forward to 1955, I decided to visit some family members in Money, Mississippi. And I was at the local grocery store just checking out with all my groceries, and I complimented the lady scanning my groceries. And then these two white men accused me of abusing her, which I clearly did not. And they put me in a truck, they lynched me, and then they took me to a farm where they did plenty of other bad things to me, and then they threw me in the Tallahatchie River. Many years after that happened, my family realized that I was dead, and my mother held an open casket funeral for me.
Oh my. That was tragic. Oh my goodness, like I got to cry. Oh my. That's only 14. Jeez. That was bad. Anyway. Ooh, man. He's a judge. I watched Judge Judy. Me too.
My name is Thurgood Marshall. I was born July 2nd, 1908. My father's name was William and my mother's name was Norma. My father worked as a steward at an all-white country club, while my mother worked as a kindergarten teacher. I had one brother, his name is William Aubrey Marshall. I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and I attended 3 different schools in my lifetime, such as Lincoln University, Frederick Douglass High School, and Howard University School of Law. I overcame my first challenge by overcoming where I came from. I also had to face racial prejudice and segregation. I overcame personal and professional issues, and I made it to one of the highest positions in the United States of America. I am most known for being the first African American Supreme Court Justice. I played an important role in promoting racial equality, and I got the idea of becoming a judge and lawyer to fight against segregation. I wanted African Americans to be treated fairly, and then soon later, I became counsel for NAACP.
I don't remember this.
And died on January 24th.
That's my birthday.
No, January was my birthday.
No, in 24.
Oh,
But it was my... Anyway. Hello.
My name is Tupac Shakur. I was born June 16, 1971. I'm a rapper and an actor. I grew up in Harlem, New York. My mother was around a lot during my childhood. My father left when I was a baby. And I'm known for my inspirational music and acting. I was in a gang called Thug Life. I was also shot many times. I died due to gunshot wounds in 1996, September 13th.
She has a fashion movement. Wow. I get my clothes from there too. Anyway.
Hello, my name is Bessie Smith. I was a blues singer from the 1920s to 1930s. I was born April 15th, 1894 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. My parents are Laura and William Smith. As a child, both of my parents died, so my siblings and I sang and danced on the 13th of Elm Street, and that's how we collected our money. Many of my songs were recorded with Louis Armstrong, Fletcher Henderson, and Benny Goodman. I'm the reason why people sing blues, jazz, and rock today. At the age of 43, I passed away due to a car crash on September 26th.
Sad. It's not. Oh yeah, he died. He died at 14. Yeah, he really did.
Who was weeks of your board?
My name is Charles Bowler. I was born February 3rd, 1879 in Cloverdale, Virginia. I got 4 sisters and 2 brothers. I grew up in Worcester, Ohio, and attended Worcester High School and the College of Worcester. I had no kids. I was married. I also played baseball and was the 3rd born in 7. Had a street named after me in Shelby, Ohio. I also inspired many black people and football players. I'm known for being the first ever African American football player to get paid, and I got the idea from watching a lot of football as a kid.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Emmett Till was sad.
Hey girls, why don't you go to Phyllis Whitley and you can come back?
have a stepdaughter named.
Come on over. We'll come back, okay? We can't see your board.
So that's my husband.
Hi, my name is Phyllis Whitley. I was born on May 8th, 1753. I was kidnapped at the age of 8 and put on a slave ship and taken to Boston and bought by John Wheatley. I became a servant to his wife, Susanna Wheatley. They taught me how to read the Bible, Greek, Latin classics, and British literature. The Wheatley family paid for my education at Harvard University. Soon after, Susanna Wheatley died, and I became a free woman and met my husband, John. Me and my husband struggled with a lot of things like having kids, but we overcame those struggles, and I became the second African-American woman to publish a book in 1767. My contribution to America was my literacy and helping other people with my work. Through childbirth, I died on December 5th, at the age of 31, I died on December 5th in 1784.
Well, let's go to
You
this.
go back to this one?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Wait,
Ooh, this is mine.
Hi, my name is Kamala Debbie Harris. I was born on October 20th, 1964 to Donald and Shamala Harris. I have a younger sister named Maya Harris. I have a niece named Nina Harris, who's an author. I got married to Doug Enoff in 2014, and I gained 2 stepchildren from that. I have a stepson named Cole Enoff, a stepdaughter named Ella Enoff, who is a fashion designer and had her fashion shown off in New York Fashion Week. I was the first woman district attorney in San Francisco, and I was the first African American and first woman to serve as California's Attorney General. And now I am taking on my biggest job yet as the first female and the first African American to be Vice President of the United States. I am a member of the sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha. I crossed when I went to Howard University in 1984. Hi, I'm Madam C.J. Walker. I've been to my African American suffering from a scalp disease. My parents recently freed slaves. I opened a beauty school. I invented things like the perm, the hair straightener, beeswax, shea butter, and a bunch of other things from it. I was the first to self-made. Okay. I was born December 23rd at 67 in Delta, LA.
Oh, so you met her?
Yes.
Alright, so which one should we visit now? We visit all. Yeah, we visit all. You want to do one again?
But I think they're gonna all recognize.
I think let's do this. Him again? It's too sad, okay? What does that mean? I don't know. They do that with TikTok. I don't know. He really had touched my.
Alright guys, we're recording this, so go ahead. Phoenix, why don't you share your screen and present?
Jariah gotta go. Me and Mackenzie already went.
All right, Jariah, we'll have you go first. Jariah, can you hear me?
What do you want me to do?
Go ahead and present yours. She's just gonna share her screen.
Yeah, see?
Not yet. She's trying to present. Jariah's trying to present. Come over here, guys. You want this one? You guys can get closer to the screen if you want.
Can I see it?
Yeah, we're good now.
Look. I'm Ryan Hansberry. I was born May 19th, 1930 at Grove in Washington Park, Illinois, and I graduated from Inglewood High School and Betsy Ross Elementary. My parents are Carl and Nanny Hansberry. I have 3 siblings: Carl Hansberry Jr., Gary Holloway, Henry, and Nanny. I was the youngest of 9 siblings. I attended Wisconsin Madison University, and I studied painting at the University of Mont Padre.
You can stop. It's on the screen.
When I moved to New York, I practiced writing at school. My husband, Robert Nimrod. Robert and I married in 1953, separated in 1957, and divorced in 1962. My struggles were, I moved to Chicago with my family, and I faced segregation during the move. The segregation I faced during my move to Chicago turned into a Supreme Court case called Hansberry versus. Moving to New York, I struggled with evictions. My contribution was I was the first African American woman to have a play on Broadway. My play, A Raisin of the Sun, shared with people the experiences of Chicago, the lives of Black Americans in Chicago. The idea of my own experiences with child segregation in Chicago. I was the first African American and the 5th woman to win the New York Drama Critics Circle Award. I learned that I can fight for right in any way I believe. No matter what struggles I face, I can be strong and grow from them. She taught the African American culture that they can be creative and creative while fighting for each other.
All right, Mackenzie Smith, why don't you go ahead and share and go? And then Phoenix, you can go right after her. Mackenzie, did you hear me?
She on me. I just noticed that the avatar.
Wait, did you say Phoenix or me?
You're gonna go first, and then Phoenix is gonna right after you.
Okay.
Oh, that's Olivia. That's not Olivia.
Introduction. This project is about a black leader, Jerry Lawson. Jerry Lawson was the first black leader and also helped design and program the Atari in the Fairchild Channel and video game console. Jerry Lawson is very important to America, to black people, because he helped make an introduction to the first game console and the start of gaming. If he didn't help make that game console, I wonder how gaming would look today. He made a huge change for technology and many starts to what our world is now. Early life. Jerry Lawson was born in Brooklyn, New York, December 1st, 1940. Jerry was without siblings. He was an only child. His father was a Longsshire and with an interest in science. Early life continued. His mother worked for the city and was a PTA member at Jerry's school. With his mom as a PTA, he was able to get a better education for Jerry's education. For Jerry's education, he went to the City College of New York and Queens College, City University of New York. Career. Jerry Lawson started his career at Fairchild Semiconductor in San Francisco in 1970 as an engineer. While there, he created the early arcade game Dimension Derby in his garage. In the mid-1970s, Lawson was made chief hardcore engineer and director of engineering and marketing for Fairchild video games. Career continued. In 1980, Lawson left Fairchild and founded VideoSoft, a video game development company that made software for the Atari 2600 in the early 1980s. While he was with Fairchild, Lawson and Ron Jones were the solo black members of the Hebrew Computer Club. Contributes to America. Jerry Lawson is known for his work in designing the Fairchild Channel F video game console, as well as leading the team that pioneered the commercial video game character. Lawson had said that he wanted to work for a special position at Fairchild, but didn't get hired. Contributes to America continued. Because of this, Lawson left Fairchild and went to VideoSoft, a video game development company. And there, he made the Channel F as the top system in the market. The position he couldn't get for Fairchild inspired him to go to VideoSoft. There is where he came up with his idea. Conclusion. I learned that Jerry Lawson created a unique gaming system. Without his hard work in making this gaming system, we wouldn't be able to have the modern day gaming systems we have today, which means he played a big role in society and gaming in general. That we as in black people can make a big difference in this world if we don't choose to stand up and show the world the power within us. Then we cannot expect others to do it for us. With that being said, We shouldn't wait for anyone to make a change for our African American community if we are not part of that change. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
No, we can look at this one or this one. They both do the same thing. See?
Anything else?
He's recording it.
Okay.
Every time I lie,
Okay.
okay, here goes the next one.
My name is Catherine Duncan, and I bet you're wondering why am I important, or why should you know about me? Why should you be learning? Well, I'm about to tell you. I was born on June 22nd, 1909 in a small town called Glen Ellen, Illinois. I've lived in Glen Ellen my whole life until I went to college. Sadly, my mom died not that long after I was born, but I have accomplished. But everything I have accomplished, I had felt like she was right there with me. I don't remember a lot about my mother, but from what I do know, she was pretty awesome. Parents. My mother's name was Fanny June Dunham. She was an assistant principal. My father's name was Albert Dunham. He was a very successful sailor. My mother and my father got married when my dad was only 21 and my mother was in her 30s. I have a brother whose name is Albert Jr. Dunham, also like my father. For a while after my mom died, me and my brother moved from relative to relative until my father came back. I don't know where he went, but from what I do know, he came back remarried. My brother remarried to Antoinette Hopkins. My brother is 6 years older than me, so I want to be like him, so I went to the same college as him. So I went to the same college as him, and for a while I studied the same thing as him, business. Where I grew up. I grew up in Glen Ellen, Illinois, a small town right outside of Chicago. It was a very pretty small town back then. Now it's a lot bigger and a lot busier. In my opinion, I had a good childhood compared to some situations. I count myself that. Education. My interest in African dance, in particular, was peaked when I went to college to study anthropology. I was 19 when I started African dancing. First, I went to University of Chicago for anthropology. Then I went to Joliet Junior College. Me and my brother went to the same college, University of Chicago. At first, I was going to do business. Then I went from anthropology. Then I went to anthropology, then dance. I eventually earned my master's degree and PhD in dance and anthropology. What was one of her life conflicts? I had to deal with a lot of segregation. Racism still goes on even when we say we're free, they say that we're not. I was an African American woman in the 1900s. I'm pretty sure you can imagine what that was like. What have you overcome, and what am I known for? I have overcome of discrimination, racism, segregation, etc. I have overcome my mother dying when I was at a young age. I have overcome being hated on because of the type of dance I did. When I was first coming out as an African dancer, and I was African American, so people thought I can easily do what she does. But you can't. You really have to practice. It is very challenging. I am known for African dancing and choreography. Now, conclusion and how did I learn about her? I had to do a report on Caster Him. I am really glad I did. She is such a wonderful dancer. How did she affect our way of life today? What did she teach the African American culture? I opened up many more people's eyes to my kind of dance. Before me, not a lot of people knew about my kind of dance, and now I have a whole course that you can take in college named after me. It is called the Dunham Dance. She taught us to embrace our African culture. She taught us that you can help people even if it's not for work.
It was named after her. The Duncan.